Hey, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
It's a beautiful Friday and a Valentine's Day Friday as well, right?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Good job, B, wearing a love sweatshirt.
My love, my
Mhm.
love.
Yeah.
I was turning my ringer off, making sure that I didn't get interrupted.
Well, let's get to some hellos here real quick. Oh, my goodness. The first one in tonight was Squatchy himself. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, guys.
Are you reading them?
Yep. Followed by Starla Doak. Starla, welcome. Good evening. Terminator, good to see you. Your comment on the community building cracked me up. You know, I appreciate it. Yeah,
What, you posted a video of the community building?
No, I posted a video of working out at Gypsy's house.
Community building.
Yeah, community
building.
Yeah. But I really loved
I'm
it.
gonna scoot forward. Okay.
Goodness.
You okay?
I haven't coughed at all today. Till I get on live.
Right.
All right, where we at? No live is complete without a
Pack rat.
Yep, Pack Rat. Good to see you. Kelly May, good to see you. Scanes Girl, how are you, my friend? Greatest name on the internet.
Bubble Off Club.
It's in the house. Vicky Poland, how's Texas? Let's see here. Kent's in the house. Good to see you. Nitos, how are you? Let's see here. Tamber Smith joined us. Good to see you as well.
Did you read any of those comments, or you? Just
I don't
go right
usually
to
at the
7 o'clock?
beginning, and I just normally just welcome everybody in, and then I'll read the comments as we go along. Lazy Lopers here. Good to see you as well. Let me see here. I already said hello. Stan Guthrie, good to see you. Redneck, how are you, my friend? Let's see here. David Strom, happy snowy Friday from Spokane, Washington. Yeah, apparently that storm's coming this way too. Right, Carrie Davis is in the house. Carrie, how are you, my friend? Beth Emily, hello, hello. Let's see here. Oh, Nancy Ghost. Hey, how
Nancy.
are you? Nancy, why don't you tell me who Nancy is?
Nancy is from the Buffalo Seed Company.
That's right. Welcome in. And anybody looking for great seeds, we grow them for them sometimes, buy them and plant them ourselves sometimes. And they've done really, really well from us. Didn't take a lot of water, and it's a great company to do business with, very like-minded. It's thebuffaloseedcompany.com. If one of the mods wants to post a link to the website, I will be glad to put it up on the board.
They are from Kansas.
Yep.
No, Missouri.
Well, close though. Right on the line.
Kansas
right?
City.
Yeah, I think it's Kansas, but anyway. Farm Ranch Homestead, good to see you. Parrot-Eyed Stanley, welcome in. Luis Wesley, how are you? Hope everything's good on your front. Let's see here. My buddy Indiana Mike, ahoy.
Ahoy.
Yeah, I think I said hello to Beth Emily, didn't I?
Yes.
I think so, yes. Okay. Live with Mike and Jen. Good to see you. We'll be cool. Good to see
Hello,
you.
friend.
Yep, American Roots Farms in the house. Long time no see.
Hello, friend.
Yep. Let me see here. Mary Michelle, welcome in. Jane, welcome in as well. Silver Lining, good to see you. I really loved your comment on the video earlier too. Made me smile. I didn't even read it to you.
Hello, friend.
Yeah. It's like, everybody, huh?
There's just going to be a parrot in the background.
Grateful Hearts Ranch, good to see you. Gypsy Slick himself is with us tonight. Oh, there we go. Look at that. There's the Buffalo Seed Company link, and a really good company, you guys.
Yes.
Yep. Nancy says, I always watch you guys, especially Saturday morning while packing seeds. Oh, I love that. Guys, they're a great company. I can't tell you, I can't speak enough of it. And it's not just that we're friends, because actually we were clients first. Right. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, you want to talk about growing a seed that doesn't need as much input, that's specifically made to do what we do. It was really a great experience, and kind of bad for them a little bit is that we've been able to save some of our seeds ourselves too.
Yeah.
Right. So like a lot of the stuff we grow are Buffalo, they're on the 3rd generation or the 4th generation of Buffalo Seed Company seeds.
Did I tell you, Nancy, that I had a tobacco plant? I had a tobacco seed that overwintered and grew itself in my corn patch. And I harvested the seeds from that plant. And I'm going to see if I can grow that plant again this year.
Yeah. What kind of tobacco was it?
It was the
white
calf buffalo
woman.
White buffalo woman.
Let's see here. One step closer. Good to see you. The beautiful MJ from Wisconsin is in the house. Good to see you as well. Let's see here. Where am I at? Got that. Scanes Girl says, I also left a comment tag. Yes, it was a beautiful comment at that too. I haven't responded to all of them yet because we had a live, but I will respond to every one of them
Where were they commenting?
on the community day video.
Building.
And I'll explain why I even bring this up. But Helen, good to see you, and happy Valentine's Day to you. Let's see here. Yeah, Helen likes
my hat,
your jacket, and your hat.
My jacket.
Yeah, she's kind of a dork. Yeah, Jen says, creating your own land race. I love it. Yeah, and it's been a great experience. And I would love to get some more seeds this year from you, Nancy, on just some stuff we've never grown. Something unique, something, that we can continue to plant. But that's probably a conversation for another day. Anyway, so what everyone's talking about as far as the comments. So let me give you, for those of you guys who haven't seen the video, I want to just give you a little background. So we went out to help King Juicy build. They're putting a house inside of a barn. And so I posted a video a couple weeks ago of us out there framing the walls and getting the solar in. We went back out there to get the ceilings in, frame the interior walls, finish the solar, those kind of things. And there's a young lady we hang out with, and she's such a badass. But I always hand her the camera and say, just go film, and then I don't even know what she films. And then I come and put a video together. And so a lot of times it's a surprise to me to know what's actually being filmed. And so anyway, I'm standing there with her, and she said, what question do you want me to ask? Because typically I have her go around and ask a question like, why are you here? Why are we helping, in this particular case, Juicy, right? And I put all the answers together, and we put a bit of video out. And she said to me, what question should I ask? And I said, I don't know. I said, how about go ask everybody why tag is a pain in the ass? Ask that question. And then off we go. And I went back to building and didn't think anything.
Everybody would have had an answer to that.
Yeah, everybody would have had an answer to that. But what was neat about it was she did not do that. I almost didn't post the video because I don't want to ever put myself in a position to take from the community, because the truth is I get a lot of credit in reference to the community, but guys, it's so much bigger than me. I'm one little cog in a big, gigantic wheel. And so I just didn't want to just take it away. But the question she asked was, what do you love about tag? And so the answer,
big difference.
Yeah. And so I wasn't going to post it, but as I start listening to the answers, they were just hilarious, and the things people come up with.
They were being funny.
Oh, a lot of them were. Yeah. Like Joe from American Roots answered it because he's got a huge vocabulary, just stuff like that. And it was just cute. And it was funny. So anyway, that's what they're referring to in that. Hey, Shannon, welcome in. Dana Green, welcome in to you as well. And so anyway, I put it out earlier today. If you guys haven't watched it, I really urge you to go watch it. And what we get done doesn't matter. It's really a side effect. It's really the camaraderie, and it's really those things that go on in an event like that I think matter so much. And then the other thing is that I noticed in this particular build, and I've always known it, but as I sat back, our skill set as a community is really growing. And, it used to be where we would go build something somewhere and I had to come up with every answer. And, I was trying to do my job, but also manage it and all of those kind of things. But it's really gotten to a point where I don't have to do much of that. There's just really smart people. They know what to do. So like this particular day, I was the cut man, which I quite often am. And I was just feeding material. I really didn't have to get involved much on how to lay out a wall or where that rafter goes or
teach a man to fish.
Yeah. And so it was just really, really cool.
So you have certain people who are, like guy 1, 2, and 3 are really good at framing, and guy 5, 6, and 7 are good at solar, right? And so
not just the guys.
Those guys would, person.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
those people those people would typically always go to work on framing, and these people would always go to work on solar.
Not always.
That you're not
always. A lot of times it comes down to
crossing.
It comes down to interest. So for example, we had a gentleman out, one of the fabulous fishers who was out at this particular event, and he could do any of it, but he's really interested in how the solar systems get put together. So he spent his day doing that, even though he's fully competent and capable
of putting up a
wall, of building a wall. But he spent his day on the solar in an effort to learn.
He wanted to learn.
Yeah. So it kind of.
Right. So he wasn't good at solar yet. He wanted to learn solar.
Correct. So we kind of rotate along, but there are people in the community, like if we're going to put a solar system in, there's, typically 2 people who will kind of lead that charge.
Have the people that have done it in the
The
past.
people who've done it in the past and have the experience in order to teach others. Because, one of our goals is to build the capabilities of everybody around us,
Yeah.
So, Nito says the comments were funny. Yeah, they were cracking me up. Again, I wasn't really even going to post it, but we did anyway. Dana says that was a good rotation video. Yeah, it was fun. Hey, Squatchy made it back. What's up, buddy? Hey, Tina, welcome in. Good to see you. Zaya Bananza, how are you? Good to see you. Yep. I think I already said hello to Helen. She says hello, everyone, because she types very slow. But it's good to see you anyway. I think I already said hello, but if I didn't, I like Zaya Bonanza. That's quite the name.
Bonanza.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. Like it. Okay, so let's see what else. So we talked about the community building again. I want to stress that what I noticed the most out of this one is our skill set's really growing.
Yeah.
And we've got some really key players that, can help us get through, a lot of these challenges. And I feel very, 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 very confident that the next homesteader, the next family that comes down, or 8 families from now, whatever it is, are really going to reap the benefits of all this increased skill set, because we're getting very, very good at what we do. We do the same thing over and over again as building homesteads.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it's a water system or a solar system or building a house or a barn or whatever it is, we're really leveling up, and that gives me great pride. And also, it's very, and I've said this a lot, even in our own community conversations, that the community has to be bigger than everybody. Right. And that someday I'm not going to be here anymore. And, someday, other people aren't going to be here anymore. And how do we make it to where we can continue this mission long after we're not here? And part of the way you do that is by growing the skill sets and everybody around you.
Yeah.
And, whatever that happens to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll quit yapping about it. But
no, you're right.
Also had an interesting thing happened this week. So me and B, there was a day that was nice. Well, when I say nice, 40. Right. Like, so not like super nice. But anyway, we decided we were going to go up to the food forest and just walk around, because what happens a lot is, stuff starts popping up and we get to look at things. And I had some trees that I planted last year that rabbits have eaten the bottoms of them off. They probably aren't going to make it now. And so me and B were just talking to each other and like, I got to fix this. I got to quit investing money in rabbit food, And,
It wasn't rabbit food.
Well, that's what it is, though.
Yeah.
Those are expensive rabbit food. And so this was not on my list to do this year. But as soon as we get a little bit of break in the weather, I think I'm going to put an 8-foot fence around the whole food forest.
Yeah.
And just get it up and try to stop the chicken wire along the bottom.
Keep the rabbits out.
And keep the deer out, make it 8 feet tall.
Are you going to what about the raccoons?
I can't put a top on it. So
what about hot wire?
It's too big. You could put a hot wire at the top, though.
Just a single wire across the top in case they try to climb it.
Yeah. Just try to do something to kind of stop it.
Well, if you put it at the top, then it won't ever ground out by grass or whatever.
Or a branch. Yeah. Anyway, Helen says the penny has been canceled. I don't know what that means. I might be slow tonight, Helen. Tamara says, have you heard from Yoda tonight? And other people said Yoda's good. Yep, Yoda's good. Her surgery went well, recovered out of it fast. I think there was even some comments from her nurses that she went through that really, really well. So I'm sure she'll be right back at it super quick. Yeah. Hey, Hardway, Alaska, how are you? Says a true homestead rescue. Yep. That is a fact. Yep. I have Tamara Smith. I have not talked to Yoda other than I sent her a text message just telling her I was glad it went well. But that's it. Life with Mike and Jen says it's quite beautiful to watch the interactions and laughter. Yeah, it's funny. Like if someone who wasn't in the community came out, they might think we're mean to each other. Because we're not mean. Well, sometimes because we poke a lot of fun, and just like Grumpy when they were asking him, what do you like about tag? He goes, I don't like tag.
Did he?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't like tag.
I could see how people could confuse that with us being mean, or whatever it is. Tamara Smith says razor wire. That'd be a lot of razor wire. Her food forest is huge.
Just one, maybe he's talking about one across the top instead of a hot wire. Maybe like Constantine wire.
No, it'd be way better just do a hot wire. Put one little solar panel up, run the hot wire, you don't have to touch it again.
Right.
Cheap,
and if you put
easy.
it up tall enough, I can't touch it. It won't hit my head.
Yeah, that's right. David says, I think about legacy often. It inspires me to find my purpose besides just starving the beast and becoming more free? I think this is such an important comment, because if what we do is just look out for ourselves and try to get ourselves free, and then it dies with us, what was the point? We didn't do anything. Our little blimp on the radar of the world, that little second that we happen to be alive.
Dash.
Yeah, the dash, right? The dash.
Is gone.
Right. I was born in this year and I'm going to die this year. Everything else is part of that dash. And I want my dash to last beyond me, and David, I think this is a great point. I think we all should be considering, how we allow this lifestyle and this mindset to continue, and how do we do that? There's a lot of ways to do it. And, but I think if we become focused on that, then it makes it not about us anymore. And it makes it easier to continue to go on and continue to be motivated.
Yeah.
I think anyway. Helen says the U.S. penny. Oh, yeah. Okay, I follow you. The U.S. penny will not be produced anymore, just like Canada's penny cent.
She's like the penny, the freaking penny.
Sorry.
Duh.
Did you get it when she said it?
No.
Smart one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, both of us are like, huh?
Yeah. Squadron said I need to go back and watch that video, so don't take it down. I won't take it down.
Not intentionally.
Yeah, it might get taken down. I won't take it down. Yeah, Tamber says I need a reason too. Yeah, I mean, I think the reason is how do we make sure that the idea of freedom and liberty, right? Liberty is probably even a better word, but how do we make sure that lasts, long, past us, right? That we didn't just do this for some, again, dash in the world, that we did it for some greater cause. And there's, again, a lot of ways to do that, which I'll talk about a couple of those a little bit tonight, because we got some really cool things going on from a bigger perspective. But we shall see. What be cool says you can find pennies in parking lots. I've found a few pennies. 2 fences 6 foot apart like living traditions did. Yeah, Stan, I don't like that idea. And I'll tell you why. Because I can build 1 8-foot tall fence for half the cost that I can build 2 4-foot ones. And the reason why, and maybe not half, but it'd be pretty close. Because here's the thing, that's 2 poles, right? Instead of 1 pole. It's concrete on each hole. I just rather build an 8-foot tall fence, right? Instead of trying to build 2 fences. And then here's the other thing, it takes up more prairie. And one thing I'm getting more and more sensitive to is I don't want to use up any more prairie ground. I want my animals to be able to use that. And so every time I push into them with another little piece, I'm just using up more of my hay ground and more and more and more. So I think I would prefer to use a big, tall fence. I was thinking, by the way, I got that big stack of chain link out there that I bought a couple of times at the auctions.
Yep.
That may be a good solution too, because I think I've got some that is pretty wide.
Yeah.
That maybe we could put up.
We'd still have to put chicken or hardware cloth or something along the bottom to keep the
rabbit out.
Smaller. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, take that off. Hey, RN, welcome in. Yeah. Says this is Susie. A penny is a tax token. Okay. I used a 7-foot deer fence with 10-foot sticks of EMT attached to T-post with a 1-inch white horse type electric ribbon ran along the top to keep the deer out. My garden is only 7,000 square feet compared to yours. Yeah. And that's the thing, is this is a big enough area. I don't think I could put a top on it.
Well, she put 10-foot sticks with, I don't know what an EMT.
Yeah, that would keep them out. This is a good idea, but for yours, maybe it's just so big,
Well, she, with the 10-foot pole, so she just ran a line across the tippity tops to keep the deer from.
Yeah, that's what I think I'll do, is I'll put an insulator and 1 line of electric wire along the top at like 8 feet. That way things can't climb it. But hey, Permatopia Farm, how are you? Welcome in. I hope everything's good with you guys down there. That's Mandy. Where else we got? Hey, Todd, not Todd. How goes it? He says, make every generation work for their freedom. I would word that differently. Let's make every generation work to keep their freedom. Right? I don't think they should have to earn it. I think they should get it, and then they should have to work to keep it. Let's see here. Where am I at? Louise says, tag and B sounds like a community fence day. It might be, right? Jen says, no top. I'll send a picture later. Okay, cool. One step closer, I was going to go with a 5-foot fence, a hot wire. Wanted to plant bushes just outside it, since deer have problems with depth perception. Problem is a 5-foot fence, a deer will jump. I can assure you a deer will jump. A dog will jump. A lot of things will jump. I think it's got to be taller than that. But then again, I guess in fairness, your garden fence around your normal, your annual gardens are 5 feet tall.
Deer go jumping.
Do they get in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is my cow mooing?
I have no idea. Tamara says, just get some of Billy Bone sauce. We've got some.
Well, yeah, now that
but I think I want to fence it. I want to make it permanent because there's all kinds of things that B does that drives me nuts. And I'll give you some examples of this. So I got her some saffron bulbs not long ago. And man, they grow great.
they seem to do
Yeah,
it
they
well
do
where they're
great.
at.
But the problem is where they're at, the animals can get to them. The chickens, the dogs lay on them, whatever. And so she decided to take these milk crates and put these milk crates over these plants.
Upside down.
So now every time I come home, I walk up to the house, there's a line of black milk crates over these saffron bulbs. And so if I can get her a place that things can't get into, maybe I don't have to look at milk crates. What do you think about that?
What do you want to look at there? You want to look
A
at
tree.
big, beautiful bushes?
Yeah.
Oh, a tree.
Just something pretty to look at, Skins Girl says, I think you can do a double fence also that messes with their depth setting.
Yeah.
It does. And there's a lot of people who do use a double fence. I'd prefer not to. I don't want to take up any more. But I guess we'll see. Half Bubble Off Plum says, I have a 6-foot chain link fence with barb arms with 3 strands of bob wire. Take it up to close to 8 feet. That's what I need.
Barb arms. That's what they're called.
Yeah, that's what I need right there. Yep. Half Bubble Off Plum for the win. Yeah, we were talking about making community, live beyond us, right? And I just figured I'd tell you guys something. I got some really cool news this week that one of our local school districts are willing to have a conversation about maybe starting to offer some sustainability classes, whether that would be butchering and gardening and off-grid, solar and some of these things. So I'm trying to really work with them to see if we can do that, because that's a great way to make sure it doesn't die with you. Right. If we can have an elective class like art or band or, any of those kind of things that's about sustainability, we can pass some of these things on to that younger generation, which is so important. And so I'm really excited about doing it. I don't know where it will go. I promise you, I'll keep you guys in the loop the whole way. We're at the very early stages of the conversation, but if I can pull it off, I absolutely will. And I'll even do more than that. I'll invest my own resources to do it, because that's a way we can absolutely make a long-term difference. Because again, guys, we're here for just a short period of time. We're just what just B likes to say. We're just the dash. Let's see here. Pete says that we have an 8-foot with 3 wire barb here out back. Hey, instigator.
8 foot.
So it's something pretty to look at. So a mural of B. Yes.
Aw.
That's so nice. Skins Girl says maybe they got short-legged deer in Kansas. No, they grow them big here. Yep.
And they jump tall.
Half Bubble says, I don't have top rail, so there's nothing anymore or anyone can spring off of. Ran bob wire through the bottom of the chain link and the top of the chain link as a tension wire. That's a good idea. I bet that'd be work, though, getting those barbs not caught in every. I bet that'd be work, but I bet it works. Let's see here. Piddling with a new battery build, 3D printer, etc. On vacation. Yeah, I do know, right? Amber says, I think the milk crates is a damn good idea. Well, it is a good idea in that it does what it's supposed to do, but I don't want that to be what I look at my front door. That's all.
I know, but if I don't, the chickens pluck that all the way down to the ground.
I'm not bitching. I know why you're doing it, but if I can provide you a solution that fixes my need not to have it and your need to protect it, we win, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Let's see here. Squatchy says tension the barb and hog clip it. Oh, okay. Instead of winding it through, that would be easier.
So much easier.
Yeah, that'd be easier.
Thinking you would have to start at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no way I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm. You don't just do what you're told.
That's what a waste of time.
Skates Girl says at least they're color coordinated. She's talking about your milk rates.
They are.
They are that. Yep.
I didn't think they looked that bad.
Yeah, Tamara says it just looks like you're growing milk crates. Mm-hmm.
It's not like there's a toilet out there or a bathtub.
There's milk crates upside down. I like the idea of incorporating a thorny hedge with a fence. I do too. Bubble says barbless wire run through is a tension wire through the chain link at the top, not barbed. Oh, got it. Okay. Yep. Hey, look at that. Hold My Beer is here from Wisconsin. Hold My Beer, how are you? Welcome in. Let's see here. Tambra says, I have to cut their wings because mine fly over the fence. You know what's crazy is we don't have a problem with really chickens in the gardens hardly at all. Right? A little, but
Yeah, a little, not too bad.
Mm-mm.
They're not close to each other though either.
Nito says, I use milk crates to shade new transplants till they take hold. Oh, look at that. Future Kansan is here himself, Toby Baldwin. Welcome, Toby. Question for B. What is the brand of overalls or garden bibs you showed us last year?
Probably the Rosies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rosie's Women Workwear. You can find them on the internet. They're actually made in Kansas, and B loves them. But you have Rosie's, you have Liberties. What else?
I have the winter
Bernie's.
ones or Bernie's.
Yeah. And which ones do you prefer?
If I was just gonna throw them on and be around the house, probably the Rosies.
Mm-hmm.
If I was going to go somewhere in them, probably the Liberties because they don't have any stains on them.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
if they were all brand new.
All brand new, which is the most comfortable pair what you would want to go out and work in the garden in?
Probably the waterproof type ones of the Rosies.
Okay, so Rosies are your favorite.
Not the cotton ones though. The like I don't know, they're like chore ones. So they were like water, they shed water.
Mm-hmm. Jen just posted in there rosiesworkwear.com. There's the link if you guys want to go check it out. We have no affiliation with them other than we're customers, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's right there if you guys want to check it out. Hey, Pippin Dies is in the house, says cheers and happy Friday, humans.
I like on the Rosies how they have like double buttons on the sides so that if you are sometimes if I'm walking around they pull on my shoulders, the overalls do, and so on the Rosies I can pull them up and button it tighter on the sides so that it kind of blouses at the bust and it like sits on my waistline instead of on my shoulders.
You guys, you're weird.
It matters.
Jen says, I love Rosies. I got a couple different ones. Yeah. Skins Girl says, I will need some. Don't expect anything I have not to be stained. No. I buy new coats and stuff all the time, and it ain't long.
Yeah, instead of going and finding the one that has paint on it to wear that one, he'll just wear the other one.
I just wear whatever one's closer.
Whatever, yeah.
Hey, Rhonda, welcome in. Good to see you.
And then he's like, where's my coat? Don't I have a coat with no stains? Well, no, you wear it with painting. That's what happens. Well, I need a new one.
And you should say what? Yes.
Go buy one. Yes. Yes.
I thought I was going to get a yes, sir.
I know what you were trying to get.
Yeah. Let's see here.
As you wish.
As you wish. Jen said, plus you get knee pads. Helps a lot when you're crawling around the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got those foam knee pads in them, which are really cool.
That is true.
Tamara said she bought black ones. I don't know if that makes it easier or not to not be stained. But anyway.
Well, that doesn't matter. I mean,
yeah.
You got white paint and caulking and foam.
What do you got on your list tonight, Miss Pumpkin?
Well, I don't know if you want me to say it because a lot of this stuff
Which one?
Well, that all were things that I sent you pictures of.
Yeah, but this is the only one right here that I got in the live, right there. So talk about the rest of them. Go ahead.
Oh, you didn't put the pictures?
Well, I put the picture of the medicine. I guess you could wait on that. I guess that's right. Okay, talk about the rest of them.
So we had another community event at the community building. We are using it on a very regular basis now. And in between tags building the community building and making messes in the community building, then I have to go and clean the community building so that we could have said meetings in the community building. Wherever he is at, you can absolutely tell he has been there.
You know what's so funny about that, guys? Let me tell you the truth about that story. So she's right. If I go somewhere and I'm doing something, there's sawdust, there's right everywhere. This is 100% true. And so we agreed this last week before we were going to hang out that we would all go clean the community building. And so I went down there, and I was down there 2 hours by myself before B showed up. And then
it still looked like it did.
Yes. And I worked the whole time.
I thought you were just sitting there getting the fire heated
No.
so that I could.
No, I cleaned the whole time. And then B comes down and spends about an hour cleaning and then leaves, and I finished it. So this whole theory about tag
That's
makes a
not
mess
accurate.
and B's got to come, poor B, I got to go clean it up.
It is
It's
accurate.
no, it ain't accurate at all.
I'm sure that anybody who's on here that knows us can vouch for us.
Yeah.
Let's do a little poll.
Yeah. Uh-huh. No, because I'll lose to every one of those.
So yeah, like some people would be like, well, you got to cut outside, but no, tag cuts inside. It does not matter if there is carpet on the floor. And
Yes,
the
it does.
room
We don't have carpet anywhere.
is painted.
Where do we have carpet?
And it just, I'm just saying, it could be 99.9% done, and he has to cut a 2x4, and he's like, I'm gonna cut it right here. So he makes a mess.
Did you know? People ask me all the time how I managed to get so much done.
Because you don't clean it behind you.
David says, I've been thinking a lot about solutions. Self-sustainable electives as a class fall into my top 3 things to teach children. Good job, Tag. Yeah, I think that's an absolute great thing. RN says, don't know about y'all, but our weather is 57 for a low and 71 for a high tomorrow. And yeah.
Oh, wow.
So tomorrow for us, the high will probably be 22.
I thought it was.
And the low will probably be 5 or 6.
Yeah. I thought we had like zeros come in.
Yeah, Tuesday, the high is like 2, and the low is like -12 or something like that.
Yeah, that's cold.
Yeah. Tamara says someone has to help me up when I'm crawling in the garden.
Yeah.
Pippin Eyes says already hitting 90 in Central Florida. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just gotten colder and colder here. I can't wait for spring. I've got the spring bug already. I'm already investing in what I need to do and, and all that kind of stuff. So, but Skane says a tag should have put the building on hydraulics so you could just lift it up on one side, open a door on the opposite side, and the trash would all fall out. But here's the thing, it's not really trash. It's the pieces of wood.
Organized.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the thing. If I spent, and this is definitely a difference between boys and girls, because I promise you there's plenty of people in our community who would agree with B on this point. If I stopped and cut outside for the community building, I'd get half as much done versus setting up a sawhorse and just going to town. Yes, I got to clean it up, but it's way more productive. And I know that productive is not important to everybody, but to me, it's super important.
How can people be productive around you if we're walking around cleaning up after you?
That's
what you're being productive with.
Right. Right.
You know, I there are a lot of building things that I cannot do, and I do understand that him stopping to pick up a pile of 2x4 scraps is less efficient than me picking up the 2x4 scraps and him moving on to the ceiling in the bathroom.
Hey, this is a good idea. I thought I turned it off. Anyway, so Rhonda says you can sew the back pockets of an old pair of jeans to the knees of your jeans and slip knee pads in them. That's smart.
If you have big back pockets.
That's smart. Nito says I'm switching over to raised beds because of age and ability for the future. Indiana Mike, I love this, says the Tagnado, never heard of it. Yeah, I can shred some wood. Yep. Jen says shots fired. No, that's not good. You know what the thing is the Tagnado, as he said, the Tagnado is a real thing. I mean, I recognize it. Yeah. Let's see here. Dana says, oh, I want some of those. I have corrugated metal and cedar trims for my 8x4 raised beds. Tag, I'm so guilty of the same thing. I have made some major errors in judgment on a couple on a couple doing it indoors. Hey, one more rock. Welcome. Good to see you. Let's see here. They're talking to each other. Let me see what's Todd got to say. It's 32 here, and tomorrow's high will be 45. I would love 45.
I like 45.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Let's see here. I'm trying to keep my elephant garlic from freezing. Yeah, don't bring it to Kansas.
What are you going to do? Mulch it? Or not mulch?
There you go. Packrat says you're providing an opportunity for bee to be productive cleaning.
Mm-hmm. Something.
Oh, there you go.
Something like that.
Yeah. Paradise Stanley says that's why you need a Stanley. That's exactly why you need a Stanley. Exactly. Oh
To clean the community building?
For all kinds of valuable things like that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, well, Maroc says, B, you're rocking the color combinations. Looks great. I'm just glad she braided her hair or combed it.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Gregory says, I actually don't think this is Gregory, but says, what I understand about men and their work, don't stop them for anything. If you do, that project may not get finished. Exactly. Dude, like totally for the win. You agree? I mean, this is smart. Guys, this is wisdom right here. This is absolute wisdom that couples absolutely need to focus on and pay attention to.
Yeah. Do you want me to clean up my mess, or do you want me to continue?
You want me to finish the project? Right.
Cabinet or clean?
Right.
You choose.
Right. That was some smart stuff right there. Hey, Stephanie Terry, welcome in. Good to see you. Hey, Zeg's in the house from Lewisburg, Tennessee. How's Zeg? All right, babe, what you got? What's next on your list?
I can't say.
Why?
Because I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, she can't read her book.
I literally cannot read that any longer.
Carrie says, my grandmother said, what is going to matter in 10 years if I don't clean the house today? Well, except there's a point, right? And I get like this. Like I deal. And guys, I understand. Living on a farm, you track and bud, and you deal and you deal. But then I get to a point where, okay, everything stops till everything's taken care of. Right? I do that. You agree? Yeah. Where are we at here? Yeah, Permatopia Farm Sun on Wednesday, we're forecast a low 4 degrees, which is really low for us. It's almost summer.
4?
4, yeah. Skinny Girl says, tag, my ex used to make me clean up and put away tools every day. I had to hump this stuff way out to my shed. So much waste of time when I could have just finished the job the next day. Yeah, if I'm in the middle of working, I'll leave my drill sitting right there on the table and go to bed and get back up and head back to work. It's harder to do if you're living in a construction zone, though. You can't really do that there. But like in the case like the community building, the next person that's going to be in it's me, right? Yeah, Jen says, I too am married. He's a hard worker with little complaints. I think this is an important message too, that we all got our strengths and there's things that make both sexes beautiful. And maybe we'll get to that later. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can you read now?
Yeah. So, well, we talked about the video that you put out. Yeah. I had wrote down that we went to a friend's house to help further their process of removing the stroke. Mm-hmm.
And you have a friend coming over here on Sunday to help you, do you not?
Remove my stroke? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Talk about that.
Yes. We're doing some tradesies. I'm lending her husband, my husband, so that they can work together on their project. And she's coming over to help me sand a wall. The pine on the one side, I still haven't gotten back to sand that. So she was going to help me sand the seams and the nail holes on the pine in pod 4 Sunday.
So she recruited her buddy to come help her sand and get pod 4 closer.
Yes.
And in trade, she pimped her husband out
to her husband
to go build cabinets
at their house
with her husband. So I'm going to another farm on Sunday to build cabinets.
And she's coming here to help me sand a wall.
Yes.
Sand wood.
B has been diligently working on for 18 months.
It is. I have literally.
Zeg says, great day. 12 hens, 1 rooster, and 6 eggs before I came in for the day. You are blessed. Yeah.
That's a meal.
Yeah. Skating Girl says, what's bad is when you no longer have anyone else to blame for the mess. It was me, and it was always me. Yeah. Ed says, California is 53 degrees. I'm considering long sleeves. Oh, my goodness. 53. I'd be running around in shorts.
Yeah.
Pippin Eye says, used to leave tools I was using in the car I was working on back when I was a dealership tech. Yeah, if you're getting right back to the project, I don't see the problem, but let's see here. Permatopia Farm says, will Rhode Island red chickens be okay around 4 degrees? They're almost a year old. They'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
You just make sure they got a place they can get out of the wind, right? Block that, that cold wind. Don't let them get wet, right? But if they can stay dry and stay out of the wind, they will be absolutely fine.
I mean, even I have my chickens go out in -degree weather in the rain. I mean, some of them go out and they're standing and I break the ice and they go and stand in it. So it's like, you guys are good grief.
Jen says genius. Yeah. It's recruiting at its finest. Yeah. One step closer says Tag has a play date. No, Tag got
Tag has a play date.
No. Tag got voluntold to do a play date.
Kind of.
Yeah.
You didn't say no.
Yeah. No, of course not. First of all, I like helping my buddies and I like helping people do those things. And I like that you're getting help to do the things that you want to do when really what you want to do is hang out. But I'm going to tell you that at the end of the day, we're going to come back.
There better be some sanding.
I'm saying, when at the end of the day, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about all of the fabulous things that we built, how many cabinets we got built all the way through the process. Everything's all squared away. And you can talk about how productive you guys were. And then we'll talk about it on our live on Friday. Okay.
I hope it's a productive day.
Uh-huh.
Like today, I didn't anticipate having to go to the vet. It was like hey, guess what? You're going to the vet first thing in the morning. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
how long were you at the vet?
Sometimes those things are dictated to me.
How long were you at the vet?
A couple hours.
Nito said, I used a wheelbarrow to contain all the tools, nails, screws, etc. Plus, I throw the garbage into when I'm building. Yeah, I like to take my wood scraps and throw them in the wood burning stove when it's burning. That's what I like to do. Let me see here. Squatchy says, we got a big break in rain in Southern California, so we got a bunch of stuff done. Yeah, love that. And 50 degrees. Yeah, strengthening the community bonds 100%. It's really crazy how, I used to think that when we would go do these community days that what it was about is we were going to go build a barn. And now I don't look at it like that at all. Like that's just like totally the side effect of all of it.
What do you look at it?
I look at it like this is where we hone our skills and this is where we learn to trust each other. And this is where we build camaraderie. And this is where, because the fact of the matter, we're all different people. I promise you, I irritate at some level everybody in the community at some point. Right?
Yes.
I promise you this is true. But I also promise you that I get to work on that trust and that. And even though I am a tagnado, my intent is good and my heart is good. And I think that it just takes time to build that trust with other people, to know that even though we're different and even though we view the world in a different place, if you need me, I'll be there. Right. And you can count on me and, I won't leave you hanging. But it takes time to build that.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't even know where we're at here. Okay. RN says the cheap eggs here have gone from 89 cents a few weeks ago to almost $5. And the expensive pasteurized eggs were $5.19 or now $6.19. Go figure. Yeah. Unfortunately, guys, I have to tell you that I don't think this is going to get better quick. I think actually all of the stuff that Trump is doing, and we'll talk about a lot of this later on tonight, but all of the stuff that, Trump has been doing is going to bring about a bunch of pain. Now, the good news is that it was going to bring it we were going to experience it anyway. The question was when, right? And the quicker we deal with it, the quicker it's over. But I absolutely think that we're going to see, some pain because of all of it.
Prices increase? Is that what you're talking about?
But yeah, prices increases. Unemployment will probably go up, right? I don't see, even though he's calling for it, I don't see how you just snap your finger and everything's all better, right? I mean, I don't think it works like that. I think when you start calling out corruption, which I applaud him for, and you start doing that thing, I think we're going to see, some trouble. I mean, look at, maybe here's another way to look at it. How many hundreds of thousands of employees has he either threatened to fired, has plans to fire, right? And so this all gets into the unemployment issue and the jobs that are out there. And then you go and you export a whole bunch of illegal aliens that are working on farms, for example, right? Mm. And then you add the bird flu in, and then you just all this whole combination of things. I don't see it getting better. I see it getting worse before it gets better. That's just my opinion. Pip and I says nothing says trust like holding a nail for someone who else is holding the hammer. That's some true shit right there too. That is absolutely. Yep. Packrat says someone who cares and shows up gets a passing grade. I agree with that. Anybody that'll give of themselves for the betterment of somebody else without ever asking for anything in return, those are the kind of people I want to be around. Says it might get rougher than we planned for. It might. I'm actually becoming more and more concerned about it all the time as I watch it. But I think we have to go through it. I think excuse me. I think we were supposed to go through it in 2008. And then what they did is they bailed out all the banks and they did all of that stuff. And we never took the pain that we should have taken there. Probably even before that. You can even go back into the tech bubbles of the 80s or the oil issues of the 70s. We've band-aided it for a long, long time. I don't think without continuing that process, I think we're going to have to go through a dip at some point. Tag, I have tag one. I have a new member to the family. Her name is Little Terminator, and she has an attitude. Did you adopt a child, or are you talking about a turkey? Let's see here. Packrat says Nashville, Aldi golden hen eggs are $5.46 a dozen, limit 2. And at Costco, when the bride went, they were out. Mm. Hey,
limit 2.
Juby Joe, what is going on? Says Lonely Juby Joe just got here. Good to see you. I really enjoyed your comments earlier, by the way. Nito said eggs in the store here are $8 and $9. Oh my goodness!
I think that's what they are here too.
Yeah. Well, good news is we won't be buying any eggs this year. Right. What do we got here? Okay. When and for how long? There's no way around it, no matter who's in charge. I think they're simmering something ugly on the back burner. I agree. And I think even to that point, the deep state, the other side, is going to put every hurdle in the way for Trump. And it's going to make it as hard as they can possibly make it for Trump. And again, we'll talk about a lot of this kind of stuff later, but I do think it's going to get harder. And I think we need to prepare for it to get harder. And I think we need to embrace it getting harder. I think we need to welcome it. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to fix it any other way. You can't give everybody everything they want. You can't take care of everybody's needs. You can't do that and also have democracy, freedom. You just can't do that. So we're going to have to go through it, in my opinion. But Jesus says, evening, all running late. Good to see you. Finding out the money stealing corruption is priceless to me. I want to see arrests. We're going to talk about that a bunch one more rock tonight. Yeah. Juby Joe says, I'm your fan, B. Baby and hub. That's something we need to do a better job of this year, the bees too. Huh?
Yes.
You agree with that?
Yeah, but I have friends who are willing to help too. So
she is a puppy Australian Shepherd. Oh, got it. Yep. I was raised with Australian Shepherds. Yeah. They're great dogs. They man, talk about smart. Whew.
And loyal.
Oh man. Yeah, my dad, I grew up on a horse farm, and my dad showed quarter horses all over the world. And he always had one of those dogs that was like his main dog, and it would ride on the tractors with him. And he could tell him, Mo is the one that I remember, this dog named Mo. And he would always say, Mo, go get the horses. And he would go get them, and he would bring them in. And they are absolutely great animals. Eggs. I broke out a pack of powdered eggs today. Looked up what I paid for a 2-pound bag in May 2020, $25. Hit the buy again today just to check the current price, and it was $70. Whew.
For 2 pounds.
Yeah. Jen says, I'm only in control of my yard. I can't go mowing my neighbors' lawns because they chose to ignore reality. Yeah. Well, but this is, and I'm speaking directly to you, Jen, and of course, Mario in this. And this is why you almost have to buy your neighbors. I know it sounds harsh, but at the end of the day, and one step closer, I think said it so marvelously one day when he said to me, he said, Tag, I can buy land anywhere. What I bought was neighbors.
I thought you meant buy, like, go give them cookies.
No, what I mean is it matters because, we have a great couple that we're super, super fond of, that we got to go walk around and look at a property that they were looking at not long ago. And it was a really cool property, except the problem is the row crops were right up on top of it. I mean, it was like 20 foot from the front door. Well, the problem is no matter how you try to live clean, you're never going to accomplish it there because they're spraying glyphosate 20 foot from your front door.
Yeah. And
you have no say over it. Right. And so
even if you are on a drift watch, I mean, that was right
there. That's right there, So by your neighbors, I think that's an absolute great way to think of it. I believe as soon as he won, the other side did their best to set it up for collapse. I agree. And I think that they would prefer it to collapse under Trump. I think they prefer to say
crappy. They'd rather see it collapse than to see it any other way.
Well, imagine though, if they could end the Republican Party, which by the way, I can't stand the Republican Party, but if they could probably end the conservative movement in a lot of ways if a collapse happened under Trump, because they could say, look, see, I mean, they were just blaming the rise in unemployment numbers on the January unemployment numbers on Trump, just on the news. And what's funny about that is he was sworn in on January 22nd.
Yeah.
And then yet they blamed him for what had happened. And here's the other thing. He ain't going to fix it in 3 weeks, guys. He's not. And anybody who has expectations that come May, everything's better, you're clearly don't understand how it works, right? Let's see here. Skanes Girl says, I remember last time a can of powdered eggs was $100. Oh my gosh. Yep. Good land in a lot of places, but real community is a rare thing. Could not have said that better. Absolutely could not have said that better. Let's see here. Or if their property drains into an adjoining creek, that makes it unusable. Yeah. So I think when you're looking for property, one of the things I would consider is what runoff do you get?
Yeah.
And from where? The number one reason I bought the property that I bought is because I'm at the top of the runoff. It was the single most attractive thing to me because then I control the outcome, which, is super big. Tamber Smith says, I would give you some eggs, Jesus. Yeah. Well, here's another thing. Even guys, if you don't have community or you don't live around that, get to know people. Because I'm going to tell you something. I would absolutely share my eggs, no problem, and help. That was I'm saying. If Jesus was close, right, and said, hey, I'm 45 minutes away or whatever, got any eggs? I'd absolutely squared away, Let's see here. It's a mathematical formula. I'm no math genius, but you can't keep up the shenanigans and expect to have a healthy, thriving economy. Fact. Yep. The greatest opportunity comes from chaos, but it's a dangerous game. Yeah, well, you'll see the largest transfer of wealth ever in the history of the world and what we're about to go through. The question is, which side? Depends on who's successful, right? My girls are helping out for the cause, even being tarped up in the cold. Yep. Yeah, we're still getting plenty of eggs, and when it gets cold, it dwindles down. But it's even on a bad day, it still produces more meat.
Oh, absolutely.
Every single day. And then here, pretty quick, what do we got? Maybe, oh goodness, it's the 14th. So you got 2 weeks before you start your first eggs, right? March 1st. Isn't that when you normally do that? Because then 21 days, that puts it into April. No, it's probably March 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think St. Patrick's Day really opens up a lot because we start the potatoes in the ground.
Yeah.
That's the onions,
so we're a month out.
Incubating eggs.
Deborah says, I'm afraid they're going to spray something in the air to make our chicken sick. Well, the RFK, he says that he's going to outlaw that stuff, but we shall see, right?
The chemtrails?
Yep.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Once we finish moving a coop, will be first priority. I'm just using up older stuff now. Yeah, got it. And then they'll be looking for some chicks. Yep, okay. I'm in the process of buying another 2.5 acres about a mile away by some new people I've met that seem more community-minded. Congratulations. I love that. Yep, Skin says, I was saving up eggs to make, what is that? Chaffles? I don't even know what that is. But now I think I might just need to freeze dry them. Look at this. I love this kind of stuff. Vicky says, hey, Tamara, if you got extra eggs, we barter with some of our neighbors. They supply 6 dozen eggs and we freeze dry them and give them 3 dozen back. That is a great deal.
Yeah.
We've done a fair amount of that here because we don't have a freeze dryer because we're off grid. And so running that cycle through the night is kind of rough. But we have taken eggs and all kinds of things, and our normal exchange rate is half. That's right on. I think you're right on it. I think you're the perfect trade. They get half, you get half. You supply the produce or the eggs or whatever. They supply the power and the time. Right? Yeah. Nito said we have an easement for an irrigation canal that the county used to spray till I made a deal to keep it cleared if they would quit spraying. Good for you.
Perfect.
Good for you. Yeah, Juby Joe says, I'm going to grow inside. Yeah, I'm real interested in putting up a big greenhouse for bees someday, but it is not on my list anytime soon. Let's see here. Land and homes in Florida are past the same price. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. And no offense to anybody that lives in Florida, so I'm certainly, I mean, everyone figures out their own type of freedom, right? Because freedom is just living life according to your own terms, but I wouldn't want to live anywhere near Florida. But in fairness, I wouldn't want to live anywhere near the East Coast. I wouldn't want to live anywhere near the West Coast. I wouldn't want to live anywhere near the Mexican border, but that's just me. Hey, Aljo, how are you? Says, my wife's family is from Decatur, Nebraska, and her dad will tell us how the community would help one another. It reminds me of your community. Yeah, we talk about this topic a lot because it's hard when you mesh sovereignty, individual sovereignty, and then also the collective of a community. And so we always, I like to always refer back to like Little House on the Prairie, where Pa, nobody told him what crops to grow, right? Or what, how he fed his animals or any of those kind of things. But yet when the barn needed built, people came to help. And so I think that's the right mixture is, individually, at the clan level, right, at the family level, that's all sovereign. You do your own thing, but, collectively, you're there to help each other, achieve their goals. But a chaffle is eggs with mozzarella cheese that is cooked in a waffle iron. I freeze dry them so they are crunchy like toast. Really?
Huh.
Interesting. Says, I'm late, but enjoyed seeing that barn house built by my old friends. Oh, yeah. Way too much fun. Yeah. Jen says, Wallapini before topside greenhouse. Yes, probably. I need to get that done. So Pippin Eyes says, yeah, Florida's getting a bit nuts, even for a Florida dude. Yeah. 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 And I mean, no offense. If someone loves living in Florida, man, I'm happy for you. Just wouldn't be for me. My son-in-law is in Florida, however, will not move back there. I wouldn't either. Land prices, I got to looking at Scotland, $100,000 for 0.2 acre empty lot that already had a structure you have to build planned. It doesn't seem unusual. No thanks. Yeah. Want to know how they're going to use that. Use what? I wonder. What did I miss? Oh, you're talking about the barn and the house? Yeah, actually, I learned a lot from them in this process because what Lou has got in her brain, I think is really, really smart because, she'll be able to go and take care of the animals and never go outside.
Yeah.
If it's bad outside, she can walk out
through a door.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So I think she's got a lot of stuff really, really smart there. And their house is going to be beautiful on the inside. It's going to be all vaulted ceilings and it'll be all fancy and all of these things.
Talk about quiet.
Yeah, right.
It's a house inside of a house.
Yeah, it's a house inside of a house. Yeah. Oh, it's a house inside of a barn.
Inside of a barn.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a building inside of a building.
Hey, Greg here now. Evening, everybody. Well, welcome. Yep. We originally thought you were here all along, and then we were corrected, but now we know. Yep. Yeah, Tamara says, I think that's a great idea. It is a great idea. And, I think they've gone at a lot of this the right way. I know they've gone through a lot, and it's hard to see it, but I think they're going to be in great shape here shortly. We probably need to get another community day out there and see if we can get them pushed a little further along, get the stove put in, because once you get the stove put in, a little bit of insulation on the walls, all of a sudden it's warm. You can kind of, nickel and dime it, kind of the rest of the way. Skanes Girl says it's a wonderful idea, especially as you get older. Yeah. Well, it's funny, Jeff and Louise, and many of you guys know them, but they're actually the OGs of the community. I mean, they've been doing it longer than any of us. They've got more experience on what it takes to live off grid and how to live. I'm going to use Lou's words here, right? How to live like a pioneer than any of us do. by far, ain't even close. And we're super, super lucky to have them, to be able to, lean on them and say, hey, how about this? So I'm super excited to continue to watch their build. Denver's, I think they need to attach a greenhouse too. They're going to on the south side. It's in plans, but it's probably not in. I don't want to say it's not in 2025
Yeah,
plans.
maybe.
Who knows? But
knows?
yeah, but I don't think it's not. Let me say it this way: it's not the next priority. I'm trying really hard not to get Jeff tasked with I need this done this year because I relate to how that
Thanks,
works.
friend.
Yeah, right. Jeff's sitting at home going, shut up. Yeah. Stephanie Terry says, I recently seen a lady in Norway who built her house inside an industrial sized greenhouse. Wouldn't work in Oklahoma. We would sizzle like a piece of bacon. Yeah.
In the summer. Whew.
Yeah. Yeah. We wouldn't work here either. Oh my goodness. I don't imagine how you could put enough solar up to cool that down.
Shade.
With a greenhouse wrapped around your whole house.
Yeah, that was hot.
Yeah. I don't know if we could do that or not. But anyway, we get to the homestead. What's going on?
Let's just, yeah.
Let's keep tracking. Okay. So you guys remember last week I showed you guys this picture, maybe, and this was Violet. This was the dog that was shot. I shared this exact same picture. This was my exact first slide, and so I just thought I'd give you guys an update on how she's doing. B had to take her. Why don't you tell why you went to the vet this morning, real quick? Because you had to take her back to the vet today.
Yeah. So yesterday I was taking pictures of the wound and sending them to the vet via text message, and last night she had laid like this, and on one side of her, it looked like her teat was like excessively swollen. I thought it was like a mammary gland or something, but it ended up anyway. So I took a picture of it and sent it to the vet, and she said, come in the morning. You need to come in the morning. We need to see this and drain it. And so I took her in this morning. Rowdy had to help me get her into the Jeep. Yeah. She does not like car rides. She is the weirdest dog. Cookies, hot dogs, she would not get in there. So he had to pick her backside up and I had to pick her front side up. And when we were putting her in, it kind of like punked open. And so I proceeded to dribble all the way to the vet. When I got to the vet, she got out of the Jeep just fine and walked into the office with me, and they right away muzzled her. They muzzled her and picked her up and put her on the table, and he just used his finger and like poked in there and kind of like wiggled around, and it just like shot out. And the front desk lady was holding the dog down, holding her back legs and holding her front legs and holding her down. And she really didn't, they didn't sedate her, and they didn't cut her open or anything. They just used his finger and kind of worked it and got in there and was able to use a bag of saline and flushed it out, and he left it open. Did you see that? Did you see it?
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, I don't know if I should stitch that. If I suture it up, then it might, be like a pocket again and hold the fluid. And so he's like, I really don't want to suture that all the way back up. But it needs to be cleaned if it's going to be left like this. And so he said, you can leave her here and we'll do it. And I was like, And he's like, or you can bring her back every day and we can do it, or you could just do it at your house. And so I realized that if she's laying like this, I can take the Cali water and I can spray it. And because she's upside down, it's like a pocket. So it, like the water goes all in there. But then when she like rolls over, it just drains itself. Yeah. So I was like,
and she lays like this in the picture all the time.
Hey, that's super easy. I just wait until she's sleeping to clean it. And then, act like I'm scratching her, like, oh, this feels good, right? Squirt, 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 squirt. And so she actually has become quite easy to deal with most of the time. She's back on another antibiotic, 2 antibiotics. Yeah, so there's the wound of what it is right now.
Yeah, but that looks a whole lot better than it did.
Yeah.
And guys, she's doing great. So just so all you guys know, she was out climbing hay bales and running around. We're actually trying to keep her calmed down because I don't want her out there tearing it open and those kind of things. But how do you keep a livestock guardian dog cooped up in a kennel? You don't.
Well, yeah, she's on the back deck, which is not. She doesn't want to be back there. She wants to be out and about.
Oh,
She wants to be. She wants to be walking around. So this is what it looked like with that lump. And so see, it's right on that teat. And I thought, oh no, the teat was involved, and we got to like operate on it.
Yeah, and that's her now.
Yeah.
Right. So I had them in the wrong order. I apologize. But that's what she went to the vet for, was that lump. But it was just water.
Yes, it was just fluid filled. It wasn't pussy. It wasn't bloody. Yeah. It was, I mean, it was reddish tinted, but it wasn't anything. Actually, he was like, this actually is a lot better than I expected it to be. This looks really, really good. And so this is it's on her underside. So it's a drainer. It's not going to be, it's not going to hold, gunk as long as I can keep it cleaned. So.
Yeah, Jen says, is Violet missing her outside? Well, that is Violet. I think what you're asking is Rosie missing her outside. And no, we kind of kept them together. And so.
Yeah. So I like today I let the other dog out, and she just laid up on the back deck on top of the outdoor furniture. And she didn't go too far. So.
Yeah. Jen says, no, I don't know what that means. Yeah. So what is this going on here? Tell this story, because I thought this story was really cool.
Okay, so I had a cow that I've got 3 cows. I had one cow who got a bald spot on her shoulder, and I thought she was like rubbing up against the cedar tree, and she was. And then her fur started to get like thinner and thinner, and I'm like, oh no, she's sick. Something's going on with her. And so I talked to my cow lady, and she had me put some ivermectin pour on her. She says, I think you've got some parasites going on. You need to treat them. And so I since then had noticed there was a thinning spot on one of the black cows. And so I was like, okay, yes, this is I need to address this like now. And so that's when I asked Lou to come, and she put the ivermectin on them. And then I thought that I don't know how, I mean, I'm new to this, so I don't know how long that's supposed to take. If they were, if it was going to work, how long does it take for the fur to not come out as I'm scratching on them? And so, I was going to repeat the ivermectin, and it's in that time frame, I was putting diatomaceous earth on them all over the cows, around their ears, around their buttocks, around their armpits, and, of course, all down their backs and sides, whatever I can reach, whatever they would let me to get the DE on in between or after the ivermectin dose. So I'm getting ready. I was going to get ready to put another dose on, and I had sent pictures of the cows to the vet. And the vet said, you need a lice treatment. You need a lice treatment. Okay. So this is what they suggested. And I was going to put this on the cows because this is what they recommended. I bought it home. They gave me the spoon or cup to measure it out. It's a big long stick with a cup on
it's a ladle.
Yeah, a ladle with a measuring cup on the end. And so you fill that up, and then you take this ladle and you pour it down the cow's, back.
Too cool.
And yes, it is.
It's
36 degrees today, I think, was the high. And right.
Yeah, and then today's the warmest day in the next 10 days. So.
Yes. And so I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do it, I need to do it today because it's the warmest day. And I sent the vet a message and said, is today too cold? How long does this take to dry? And she said, it's kind of oily. It's going to take a little bit. Maybe today is not the best day. And so I had sent, looking at the weather, looking at the timing of when the 37 or whatever degrees was going to happen. In that time frame, I had sent another cow lady a message and said, "Hey, I'm going to do a parasite pour-on treatment. Do you think that it's too cold today?" And she said to me, "Geez, I'm really not the right person to ask because I wouldn't put this stuff on my cows. This is permethrin 1%. And then if something else. Anyway, she goes, I wouldn't put this on my cows and then consume their milk. And I would just use DE or wood ash or something, to that effect." And I was like, "Well, I've done the DE already." And then I'm like, "You know what? I told her I appreciate the answer that you gave me because it really brought me all the way back to really why I started this, because trying to do it more natural, trying to do it with less inputs, less catastrophic inputs, I guess." And so I did. I did not put this on them. I have it, but I took my DE back out to the cows and I proceeded to put that all over all of them again, under their armpits and, just everywhere. And I was able to put it in their brush and I could scrub underneath their bellies, and I could see it, puffing out of the brush. So it was getting on them.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell like they look dusty because they're covered in white.
Well, what I thought was cool about the story was just you saying this is another community member that we have,
saying thank you,
who has milk cows. So she a whole different breed of cow and all that, but for her just to level with you and you be like, "You know what, just thanks for squaring me away again, because I was really considering this again." And
yeah, well, so too, like the naturaler products are not going to work as fast as something that's harsher.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. I'm going to put the DE on them, even if I have to do it, every day. I'm going to see if I can. Well, and then also treating their environment, because I had since then, or I don't know when the lice started or mites. I don't know what it is. I know it's something. There's a parasite of some kind going on. Pest. I meant pest, not parasite. Pest. But it could have got. I bought straw from Tractor Supply, so it could have come from there. Could have come from our earth. Who knows?
Yeah, Greg wants to know if you put ivermectin on them, but you did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I have an entire can of wood ash too. I was going to take some of that out and sprinkle that around in the straw.
Mm-hmm. We have plenty of that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
our stove hasn't been shut off in months.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to try the more natural approach again first, and then go from there.
Yeah.
I'm still spraying the turkey's eye with the hypochlorous acid that I purchased from Tractor Supply. And then I'm putting some drawing salve on the puffy part. I don't know what else to do for that. I'm playing doctor.
All right. You ready to move on?
Sure.
Okay. So it's been cold, and this is normally where we store our firewood, and
it's empty.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea right there. Jen says, how about silver, B?
Like liquid silver? What silver?
Like colloidal, saying it right?
That would make it wet again though, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Anyway, This is our firewood got down to a very little pile here. Now we have plenty of firewood put up. We have to go get it and stack it and all of that kind of stuff. But we just want to show you guys it's been cold and we don't normally get down to this low. But so guess what had to be done today?
Wood.
Stock back up again.
I was able to go back through and sweep all the crumblies up and clean up the mess.
Yeah.
But I mean, as you're picking wood up, just pieces flop off of it. So there is no way to stop the mess when you have a wood stove.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is we have plenty of firewood. I've probably got 3 years of firewood split and stacked. But you just got to bring it in the house, bring it into the room that we store the firewood in.
Yeah.
And we have some neighbor kids, community kids they're just such fabulous kids. And they're always looking to make a little extra money. So quite often B hires them to haul her wood in for her.
Yeah.
And, that works pretty good. But let's see here. Can you put DE in their food? I don't know. I don't have cows, but it works for dogs and people.
I believe so because they, lick themselves after you put it on them. I mean, we can consume it.
Yeah, but
dogs can consume
the way that I understand DE works is that, the sharp edges and stuff like that. If they ingest it, how's that going to help them? Maybe I just don't know.
Because if they ingest it, then it does whatever to
on the inside
parasites that they have on the inside.
Skate says you were low on wood. It was. Right. Tamara says you have to bed when you have animals. I don't know what that means.
Like bed them down?
Maybe. Colloidal, but it does dry. Hey, Zaya Bonanza has a good idea. How about methane blue?
Methylene.
Mm-hmm. Not methane. Methylene.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know anything about that.
You writing it down?
Yes.
Yeah, Gregory says permethrin was the only
permethrin
was the only insecticide that was approved for dairy. Approved by whom? The same people that approved the other pokies and the same people that, let's see here. Yeah, G. Johns. Hey, G. Johns, how are you? It says DE dries out the critters. Yeah, there you go. Zaya Bonanza says DE is powdered clay per se. Yeah. Helen says, I have a suggestion. Can you ask Danny from Deep South since he has cows? Yeah, we can. But here's the thing. Like, we've got a great community of that. I mean, we've got people here who have been raising them a long, long time. And B gets to reach out. She spends a lot of time, pretty much just 3 people. Mostly 2, which is, Lou and Tracy, who have been raising cows a long time, and she gets their opinion all the time too. But yeah, we can.
Well, and 2,
we can call Danny too.
Because we're in the climate, we're in a different climate than Danny. We would have different issues. Like Lou, when I said that I was having some pink eye issues with one of the cows, she was like, already? Like, is a summer thing? I don't know. Is a winter pink eye not normal? And she's like, I just wouldn't think that would be like an issue already. And then, Doug was like, yeah, I've had winter pink eye.
Oh, and Doug. I forgot about Doug. Yep.
And then he's like, you just want to, and then he was like, you just want to get it before it pops out. And I'm like, wait, what did you just say? His eyeball is going to pop out? What? He was like, well, and I'm like, no, I got to Google something. What's going on? I need to know before this happens. What do I do? But no, I sprayed the hypochlorous acid in her eye, in the cow's eye. And the pinkness is all gone. I did spray it again today because I just I want to make sure it's gone. Yeah. But I try to keep up on that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, Maroc said I had a rescue dog with red mange and DE and its food cured it.
Oh.
And Tamara said you have to doctor on them when you have animals. Oh, yeah. Actually, the only living, breathing example we have in the community that I believe of on working on a gunshot wound. Oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. Because we have people in our community who are nurses who have done it. But I'm talking about on the farm, B was super involved. And it was actually a really cool experience, I thought. Stephanie Terry says you can use DE on their food. I put it in my chicken's feed sometimes for prevention. Yeah, B does that too. Louis Wesley says use food grade DE putting into food. Yeah.
So, in the cow food.
And Jen says Miss Lou is the cow whisperer. I've seen it with my own eyes. Yeah, we've got great skill here for that perspective. Packrat says water-based permethrin solution is approved for hikers' clothing to repel ticks. And Gregory says it was approved by the Nebraska Department of Agriculture. Yeah, I really just have a hard time trusting any agency, government agency of any kind to give me any kind of straight answers. And I think the more corruption that it's exposed and the more of that kind of stuff, the more I go, maybe I've been, maybe everything's a lie.
They do have, I totally agree.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let me give you guys some updates here for the rest of what we're working on in the community building, but then I'll get on to the news because I'm an hour and 20 minutes in and I'm not going to get to much slides already. Yeah, it's okay. So if you guys remember, this is where I left you in the community building, and I had just built the hood, which is in the back there to go above the stove. So you can see that big open space between the hood and the other cabinet. I had to custom build all of those. So I bought 2 cabinets. You can see the 2 I bought, and then I was going to build the rest of them. So as you can watch through, as I go through this progress of building them. Okay. So this is kind of where it's at its finished stage before I prime it and paint it and all of those kind of things. We'll see if I was going to say something. We'll see if anybody asks the question. We'll go from there. But there you get some of it in paint, and then finally it's all in. So the good news is my upper cabinets are completely finished all the way around the community building. When I say completely finished, they're completely construction finished. There's still some edging of paint and handles to put on and stuff like that. But beyond that, it's pretty much all in, which is super, super good. I don't even know if I can say this word. Gregory says it is made from
chrysanthemums.
Permethrins?
I thought it was made out of marigolds, but so there's permethrin and then there's pyrethrin or something like that. It's a slight difference. So one is made out of a flower and one is a little more dangerous. Yep. Right? Am I right? I think I'm right.
Yeah. Well, Gregory would know, right? But anyway, so the community building's trucking along. I'm excited about it. There's still so much to do. Okay, here we go. What's Jen say? The EPA classified permethrin as a low-class carcinogen, toxic to fish as well, so be mindful around the ponds of spraying for mosquitoes. Got it. Got it. I think that was the last slide on that deck, which is pretty cool, right? So anyway, we're going to get back to work on the community building. I got to get driving in towards the bathrooms here pretty quick. Got some other things that I need to get done. I'm still just trying to finish up, but we're a long ways. Like I said, we're using it. It's got power. Yeah, Gregory says, yeah, there's 2 types. Zaya Bonanza says, great job, Life Done Free. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Pie.
There you go.
So yeah, see,
pyrethrum.
pyrethrum
is from
chrysanthemums.
Yeah.
Which is a mum.
Permethrin is a synthetic analog.
Yeah, one is way worse here.
Yeah, Tam says she still loves the trees. I love building with natural material. If I can take something out of my yard and incorporate it into a build, I'll do it all the time. Just gives something to look at, I don't want everything to be, all boring,
Yes.
But all right, you guys ready for the good news tonight? Are you ready for the good news? I'm gonna get y'all. I don't know how many we'll get to, but we will blow through it as quick as we can. Okay, I'm sure you guys heard that Doge went ahead and got into the IRS, and they're beginning to audit the IRS. Trump confirmed that Doge will be auditing them. Trump's Department of Homeland Security looking to deputize IRS agents for immigration enforcement once they move them out of the IRS. Officials from the Department of Government Efficiency have entered the IRS building, was reported. Dems, I found this fascinating too, but Dems need 80,000 IRS agents to audit your $600 Venmo payment. Right, reps, there are over 100 billion in annual entitlement payments to people without Social Security numbers. Isn't it funny? I was in a Tractor Supply, and I'm totally going to rant here for just a second. I was in a Tractor Supply getting something, and the young kid was talking to me, and he knows me, and he just said, hey, I wish I knew now about how credit worked versus back then. And I said to him, I said, yeah, don't you think it's amazing that the people that are $36 trillion in debt are giving you a credit score?
Yeah.
I find that funny. Anyway, Doge workers have arrived at the IRS today. And again, they're going to audit them. Trump says, I think the IRS will be looked at just like everybody else. And I think this is an important statement because when he says everybody else, you know, if you guys think of the money that they say that they're saving and finding, which none of us have any proof, right? But that they say the USAID is a super small department. When you start getting into Medicare, Medicaid, IRS, Social Security, the Defense Department, if they truly do that, it'll be interesting to see what they said. But anyway, I really appreciated everyone will be looked at. They're doing a hell of a job. Elon is building a force of super geniuses. They're going to go talk to people about their deals. And people get tongue-tied. They can't even talk because these people get it. They're very, very smart, and we need smart people. Democrats are going to have to defend the IRS now, and I find this really fascinating. So when he goes into audit the IRS, the left is going to have to come to the defense of the IRS, right? So they're going to be defending the IRS, which makes, I think, puts them kind of in a bad spot. And then breaking just tonight, it said the IRS is about to lay off thousands of workers. And we'll see how that goes. I am not an IRS fan. I think taxation is theft. And I guess
they just hired all them, and now they're going to lay them off.
Yeah, they're going to. Let's see how they like getting audited. Yeah, I think so too. Right. Jesus says, I wonder how many IRS agents will quit when they get reassigned. Yeah, might be a way to cut the budget. Yeah, I think a lot of them. There was a whole bunch, like 70,000, who accepted Trump's first deal to get out. But you got to remember what happens to them then, right? They get out. Now they're going into the public workforce. There's jobs. They're competing. I mean, this, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to absolutely get worse before it gets better. Mm-hmm. If anyone ran their company like the government, they'd be in jail. Yeah. And you wouldn't make the company wouldn't go anywhere.
That's true.
You'd go broke, right? And Nito says, how many IRS agents did they report were actually behind on their own taxes? Yeah, if I remember right, it was 8,000 IRS agents reportedly were behind. So 10% were reportedly behind on their taxes, which of course, right? A former World Bank president has sounded the alarm. And again, this was on February 10th, revealing that the Federal Reserve has lost over $1 trillion. To put that into perspective, that's 1/36 of our debt, right? They've lost over $1 trillion and counting, turning it into nothing more than a massive hedge fund for the rich and powerful. It claims the Fed is borrowing money from the banks at 5.4%. Charlie Kirk says, I like Senator Mike Lee's idea. Ron Paul would make a great next chairman of the Federal Reserve. No other institution in America's life has so eroded the purchasing power of the working class people than the Fed. As a longtime civic and skeptic, Ron Paul would be a living and breathing force function to bring reform and accountability. I love this idea. Democrats now say that in response to Trump shutting down huge parts of the government, that they're ready to retaliate by shutting down huge parts of the government. How stupid is that? They're saying they're willing to go through a shutdown if Trump keeps shutting it down.
Does that mean that like they're not going to go to work? Does that mean like if you keep shutting offices down, I'm not showing up to work anymore?
It's so dumb. Just that whole statement just cracks me up. But he actually said it. Senator Andy Kim says he's open to shutting down the government if Trump continues dismantling the agencies. But again, right, they're going to shut down the government if they continue to shut down the government. I mean, it's just so dumb. Packrat says unemployment will skyrocket as they hit the private sector with no marketable skills. That's right. That is absolutely right. And then guess what? We're paying for them anyway. Right? So we paid for him as a taxpayer to be at the IRS, and now we'll pay unemployment. And we'll pay those things. The taxpayer will be on the hook for it.
Oh, no.
Right? Yeah. One step closer says, I accept their terms. I do too. In fact, I would argue we don't even need a very large federal government. Their job should be nothing more than to protect us, right? Maybe regulate interstate commerce. But even that, I think, could be done in the states, although that was specifically called out in the Constitution. There really isn't a lot of other jobs for them. They need to get out of education, get out of healthcare. They need to get out of finance. They need to get out of all of those things. They need to let free markets dictate everything. And I think things would be a whole lot better. Jesus says that goes along with stopping payments to NGOs would be bad. If the government is funding you, you aren't a non-government agency. Correct. Yep. Unemployment was way less than the regular paycheck. It is. and it would be a portion of it, but I'm telling you, we would still be doing it. Right.
Right.
As you guys probably heard, Tulsi Gabbard was confirmed. And I wanted to read for anybody who didn't get a chance to see it. I wanted to read to you what she said to the president after being confirmed. She said, Mr. President, first and foremost, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the trust that you have placed in me to fulfill this critical position as the Director of National Intelligence. Unfortunately, the American people have very, very little trust in the intelligence community. I love that she said that. She just came out and said, they don't trust us, right? I look forward to being able to help fulfill that mandate that the American people delivered to you very clearly in this election to refocus our intelligence community. This is what I've dedicated my life to, and it is truly humbling to be in this position to serve in your administration. Help to rebuild that trust and ultimately to keep the American people safe. Thank you for your leadership. On behalf of my friends here and all who wear the uniform, we are grateful. I absolutely love that statement. I love how she just absolutely came out and said the American people don't trust us.
Yeah.
Because at least own it.
Yeah.
That's the way you begin to build trust. Just in same in the private life. She's
a Democrat, right?
If I've done somebody wrong, the best thing that I can do. Well, she was a Democrat. She converted. But what's interesting, Babe, I don't know if you know this or not. Trump was a Democrat. Tulsi's a Democrat. RFK is a Democrat. Musk's a Democrat. Right? I mean, this entire White House is Democrats. You didn't know this?
That is crazy.
Yeah. The Senate did confirm her 52-48. And I don't know if you guys know this, but in the last Trump administration, as soon as Tulsi Gabbard endorsed Trump, it was this one, but before she was nominated or before she was confirmed, I'm sorry. She endorsed President Trump. She was placed on the terrorist watch list. And now what's so funny about that is now she outranks the people who put her on the list. Man, I'm telling you, you got to be careful who you piss off along the way, because the people that flagged her, who harassed her and did those things, she's now in charge of that department.
Right.
And heads I promise you, are going to roll. Something I also found interesting is, do you guys remember when Hillary was running against Bernie in the primaries? And Bernie kind of got Bernie Sanders, he kind of got a bad rap, right? Kind of got a bad hand dealt to him. And they kind of threw him aside, even though he was more popular for Hillary.
Yeah.
One of the only people that came to his aid was Tulsi Gabbard, right? As a Democrat back then. And he actually voted against her for the Director of National Intelligence, right?
That doesn't surprise me.
No, politics is a dirty, dirty, dirty game. Gregory says March shutdown is coming if the budget is not approved. I shut it down. I'm perfectly fine with that. Steve C. Abrams, Democrat for Georgia, has unpaid back taxes, yet still ran. Right. Yeah. Every journey starts with knowing and admitting what your starting point is. Yeah. And that's kind of why I really like her statement, because you know what? She just owned it. Right. And so with Tulsi Gabbard confirmed, Trump now controls their information systems, having already stopped the money. So now he's in control of intelligence. I think that probably couldn't have said that any better. Nitos, I actually got a slide on that here in just a minute. Let's go here to the next one here. President Trump responds to Maxine Waters, tells Maxine and all of her friends that we're last in education, but we're number one in cost per pupil. So what he's saying is we're not last in education. We're middle of the pack, but we are number one in cost per pupil. That's all you have to know. We have to make a change. I want to send education back to the United States. I think they need to put the hands of the education back into the state's hands, into the local counties' hands, for them to decide. And by the way, Trump tonight, after I'd already built my live, just prior to going live tonight, Trump signed an executive order that states that any school who mandates the thing, I can't say it because they'll shut me down like they did last time. Any school that mandates the thing, they will lose all federal funding. Tonight. Wow. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Right? The best teachers in America would need, and I love this from Vivek Ramaswamy. He says the best teachers in America should be paid way more than they are right now. Instead, we're wasting that money on teachers and administrators who underperform. The right answer is merit-based pay for teachers, principals, and superintendents, and this shouldn't be controversial. Because more than 67% of American students can't read at grade level. Whatever the Department of Education is spending their $82 billion a year budget on isn't helping our kids. So I did a little digging. And did you guys know that over 90% of the Department of Education budget go to administration costs?
That doesn't surprise
Okay,
me.
so what that means is, if you guys think about this, that means 10%, 10% is going to the teachers, the schools, the school lunches.
Oh, they don't consider the teachers as administrators?
No, no, I don't believe so. Let me see
It
here.
just goes to administrative costs.
Yeah.
I thought that would
No, I
be
think
the cost of the instructors, the cost of
Superintendent, secretaries, so upper management is the way I would read that. A teacher could tell me if it was different, but so 90 to 93% on administrative costs, 7% on budget distribution, and the rest on specific figures. So I'm not going to read all that, but absolutely insane. I salute. Yeah, that's what I thought too. G. John said administration's pay is separate from teachers' pay. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's so crazy about this, babe? And again, I want to reiterate this: 90 to 93%. So somewhere between 7% and 10% of the funding for schools goes to teachers and students.
Wow.
Yeah. Jen says they ask face on enrollment docs because the school gets additional funding for non-Caucasian students that directly from our school principal. Not just that, but did you know they also get additional funding if they can put your kid in a special ed class, right?
Mm.
John Gatto for Secretary of Education, author of Dumbing Us Down. I would love that, Instigator. I would absolutely love that. Yep, ask the children what is going on. Administrative cost equal pencil pushers. Yeah, we don't know what all they have on us, says Maxine Waters, admitting the problem Dems have with Doge. Yep.
I heard that.
Yep.
We don't know what they have on us.
Yes, Nito says that also includes the Federal Department of Education, right? So it's not just superintendents, it's also the Department of Education, the administration side. Yeah, and here's someone who would absolutely know. Louise Wesley says, I can attest kids struggle with reading every day. It's so sad. Yeah, we can do better, guys. We can absolutely do better. We, as parents, have to demand more. We have to walk into schools and we need to tell them that we're the parents. They're not. But in doing so, we have to act like the parents. We have to be involved in our kids' life. We have to show it. That's right. Because when we put a teacher in a position to be the parent, and then we bitch at them because they're the parent, that's on us.
Yeah. No, if your kid's being naughty, you got to deal with it.
That's right. We need to go to the school board meetings, right? We need to be involved. We need to encourage our schools to teach the topics that are important, right? Gender studies is not important. Balancing a checkbook is. Just my opinion. Hey, Starlet Oak, how are you? All right, trucking along here. Eye-watering moment. RFK was confirmed as well. I'm really looking forward to what he does. But RFK delivers an emotional tribute to President Trump after being sworn in. And I'd like to read what he said just so you guys can hear it. For 20 years, I've gotten up every morning on my knees and prayed that God would put me in a position where I could end the childhood chronic disease epidemic in this country. On August 23rd of last year, God sent me President Trump. He's kept every promise that he's made to me. He's kept his word on every account and gone way beyond it. I'm so grateful for you, Mr. President. A lot of people told me that I could not trust President Trump, that I better get it in writing. And we did a handshake, and everything that he told me he was going to do, he has done. I'm so grateful for him. And I've told you before, I genuinely believe you are a pivotal historical figure, and you are going to transform this country. I think those are big words for him to say, that he is a pivotal historical figure. That's somebody you read in history books, at the great turn or whatever it is you call it. House Bill 279 would stop EBT cards from being used on junk food. What do you think of this? You think that food stamps, I don't know why they don't call it what it is, but you think it should be allowed to?
I don't know. What do you consider food, junk food?
Oh, there you go. There you go. I think that's what's important is who decides what's junk food.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the schools.
I think bread's junk food.
Well, but the school's pyramid puts Fruit Loops ahead of eggs.
Right.
So again, I think this comes into the old adage, and we've talked about this a lot on the channel about, should people with mental illness have guns, right? This gets into the same argument. Who gets to decide, right?
Yeah.
This is the most important video on X today. Watch RFK as the emotional pledge to restore the American dream to our children. A healthy person, I really like this. A healthy person has 1,000 dreams. A sick person only has one.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And 60% of our population has only one dream, and that's to get better. That's a good quote, right?
Yeah.
I'm, again, optimistic, but I guess we shall see, right? Let's see where I have no idea where I'm at. So we'll just get started, right? One step closer says Maha. Yep. Kelly May says a lot of them can't count change back without a machine to tell them how much. I love that there are schools out there, though, guys, who still teach cursive, who teach the Declaration, who teach the Bill of Rights. There's schools out there who teach how to manage a checkbook. There are those. We need to support those. And if Trump does what he says he's going to do, which is to give ultimate school choice, you guys take your kids and put them in a school that furthers your beliefs. It don't matter if you got to drive. What's more important than investing in your kids? Right?
Yeah.
One step closer says they list ketchup as a vegetable.
Good grief.
Yep. G. John says Dodge will be essential to allow cabinet members to operate in a bureaucratic swamp. Yeah, RN says good night. Good night to you. Mentioned to my dad that we spend lots on snacks. He said most snacks are bad. I said we only got several kinds of nuts, beef jerky, etc. Would have cost less to get chips and Little Debbie's. Yes, it would. I think Zaza says Skeins. What's the 3 R's? Maybe reading, writing, arithmetic.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. Could I be close? All right. Did you hear that the White House press briefing questioned correctly? $2.7 trillion in improper Medicare and Medicaid payments to people overseas.
Overseas. Maybe that's like somebody that's retired and
maybe. I have a friend who lives overseas.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're talking about.
To the tune of $2.7 trillion.
Oh, trillion.
Oh my gosh, that's
a lot of money.
That's to people who aren't even contributing in our country, right? This cannot be real. The entire national debt is 36 trillion. And you're telling me that you sent checks for $2.7 trillion to people overseas? You guys, we've only begun.
For Medicare, Medicaid payments.
Yeah, we've only begun to see the waste. I'm telling you right now, by the time we're done with these audits, we will find at least $36 trillion worth of waste, fraud, and abuse.
Oh my gosh.
I want you guys to think about this a little bit. But there's another big twist on this, on this slide, but there's another big twist on this that I think makes a whole bunch of sense, which may play into part of, Trump's art of the deal. How pissed are people going to be when they realize that they were funding all of these programs and all of this corruption, right? When people wake up and realize that those tax dollars that they sucked out of us as we continue to pay more and more taxes. How often do I bitch about taxes, right?
All the time.
I hate it.
Quarterly.
But this is what it's going to, right?
Yeah.
See, that could also be fraud with money going overseas. Well, I'll guarantee you it's fraud. Yeah, it's not $2 trillion when you've got 100,000 people. That's laundering.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. One more rock says, we have been raped and pillaged of our money. Yep. What is the biggest check you ever wrote on that line? What line?
On that line.
Yeah. Which line are we talking about? Maybe I'm slow tonight. At this point, I'm 100% certain, Elon Musk says, that the magnitude of the fraud and the federal entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, disability, etc., exceeds the combined sum of every private scam you've ever heard of by far. What is the biggest check I've ever written? Is that what you're asking? Check out. What is the biggest? Maybe she's asking me what's the biggest check I've ever written?
At a checkout?
Like at a store? Sorry, Juby Joe, help me out. Juby Joe says, I write small. That means you can write a big number. Okay, so when you say yes, Juby Joe, are you asking like at a checkout line, like at a store? Or are you talking about like in business? Because I mean, I wrote millions of dollars of checks in business, right? bought companies and things like that from a business perspective. If I think that's what you mean. All right, where are we at here? One Step Closer says they need to move election day to April 15th. That would change things. Actually, I think you're going to see a bunch of movement on the way elections work too. Let's see here. The guy that did our doors is retiring with his Filipino wife back in her country and collecting his Social Security and government pension. He said little to no taxes on it. I don't get it.
So U.S. guy moved back to the Philippines to be with his wife's family.
Yeah, and I get this. And if they've worked their whole life and they've contributed, they're entitled to that. I have no issue with that. An entitlement's not welfare. Let's be clear. It's entitlement because they paid for it. But you can't tell me to $2.7 trillion. No, there's just no way. That's laundering. This is how Zelensky ends up with owning a ski resort and one place and a beachfront house in Miami and another house in London, right? This is how that stuff works. Did you guys know that Planned Parenthood just scrubbed their Instagram account? I wonder why.
Instagram, huh?
Yeah, so I went and did some digging and found some of their ads that, they put out. If you guys look at that virginity one, I found it so interesting. They put this is a billboard sponsored by them. And it says virginity, a completely made up concept. Look at the Valentine's Day card from them. It says, "You come complete me." This is Planned Parenthood, right? Bohert says that implanted aborted baby parts in lab animals. Have you heard of this sort of research? And this is at the Senate. To which Goodman says, yeah, we did an analysis a few years ago showing that over 90% of the experiments using a human fetal tissue and putting them in animals were funded by NIAID. President Trump says it's time to defund Planned Parenthood. They receive $700 million in taxpayer dollars annually. And this is not I'm not even going to get into the conversation, but this is corruption, just like any other place. They claim to be about women's health, but I promise you they are not. Planned Parenthood health system agreed to pay $1.5 million for allegedly violating the civil monetary penalties of law, submitting claims for Medicare services not provided or claimed.
Oh, wow.
And don't forget, you can go to Planned Parenthood for gender-affirming hormone care, right? This is not women's health. Right? This is social agenda. Nothing more. I tried to say all that delicately. Filed under, you just can't make this shit up. You guys see that picture in the bottom left-hand corner? That's a Nigerian prince. Meet Nigerian prince. I'm not even going to pronounce his name right. But anyway, he runs Crib Procure Inc. It's not certified, registered to participate in New York City's procurement process or conduct business in the city. But this raises questions. How was he able to secure a contract with the city without any documentation? Additionally, branches of his company have ties to the World Economic Forum. Elon Musk and President Trump have revealed that FEMA was paying 2 times the normal hotel rate to house illegal immigrants in those luxury hotels in New York City, while people in Western North Carolina were living in tents for months. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Christine Noem has confirmed that the entire $59 million that rogue FEMA employees sent to New York City to house illegals in the luxury hotels has been clawed back. They told FEMA that there was no money for Americans in Maui, no money for Americans in East Palestine, no money for Americans in Western North Carolina, but FEMA had an extra $1 billion to spend on the immigrants. This is criminal. A grand total of 0 major news outlets yesterday reported on the fact that President Trump's FEMA resolved 80% of all the open Hurricane Helene victim cases in West Carolina in just 5 days. So my question, what take Biden so long? Right? And you guys know I'm not the biggest Trump fan, but it went on for months and months and months, and Trump resolved it in 5 days. Good for him. Yeah, Jesus says, dang, I think that's the one that emailed me and told me I had money waiting for me. Yeah. Yeah. But Jesus, and that you are a princess. Just breaking Secretary of Judiciary Committee just voted 12-10 to approve Kash Patel for FBI director. The vote will now go before the full Senate. They have held this off. I don't know why they're holding this off. I think they are scared to death of this guy. The more I watch him, the more I like him. But it's reported that Jeffrey Epstein's list is in the hands of Donald Trump as we speak, and that on the first day of Kash Patel's tenure, he's going to release the Epstein files, which I hope he does. The American people have a right to know. Wall Street Ape says finally the Jeffrey Epstein files are being released. In the next 10 days, you're going to see the Epstein files released. Day number 1, Kash Patel walks in. By the end of the day, it will be released. Glenn Beck. Jeffrey Epstein's victim says, I've spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all of the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. This is tragic. I hope they release it. I hope, and as Jen says, hopefully it's not redacted. If they redact anything, I'm going to go back to thinking it's all a scam, because the American people have a right to know this, and these people need to pay for those crimes. There's not a single thing that can justify, any of this. Kelly May says, there's a bunch of people that need to go to prison. Yet we have unknowingly paid for regime changes in other countries. Well, we've paid billions of dollars so people can go rape little girls on Epstein's Island, right? How sad is that? Do you think they paid for their own airfare out there or their own jets? Right? But in kind of interesting news that I thought was cool is that Washington, D.C. searchers for lawyer have increased 400% according to Google Analytics. So in Washington, D.C., the search term defense attorney, those searches have gone up 400% since Trump's taken office. I know it's just a coincidence, right? Over 3 times more people in D.C. are Googling criminal defense attorneys than anywhere else in the U.S. Anybody got any guess why the Google Analytics says the searching for criminal defense lawyer is higher in D.C. than anywhere else? I don't know. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. Yeah, that needs to be released completely. No redactions. I agree. We know there are puppet masters, but I wonder who they are. Yep. Forget prison. Save the money. Tractors and big holes. See, I think that lets them off too easy. I get that for a lot of crimes that just makes sense. But I'm going to tell you something. People who do that should suffer. They should absolutely suffer. What I think needs to happen is let's tie the knot and let's send all of these people to El Salvador prisons, as Trump was talking about and as we discussed last week. Right? Yeah. Kelly May says they need to make more room at Gitmo. Gitmo would be okay too, but I say send them to El Salvador. That's what I think. Yeah. Jesus says, be interesting to know if Hunter has Googled that recently. Oh, I would love that. I would love to know that.
You might, his laptop.
Yeah. Juby Joe says, do not hurt our children. We prey on our children. Our children are nowhere near safe at all. They're preyed upon from the first day they walk into school, their whole life long.
From the minute they're born with the,
right.
Throw some, 27 jabs at them real quick.
I wonder if the entire departments can get a class action discount on a criminal defense attorney. Maybe, right? The employment numbers will go down, but for good reason. Yes, they will. And we need to be patient, right? And understand that you're not going to walk in and just fix it. We're going to have to eat a shit sandwich, and all of us are going to have to take a bite. But I think they know this. And if we were ever going to go through it, who could convince the religious right, for lack of a better word, or the veterans, or all of those to take one for the team than Donald Trump? You're right. So again, it's, and we talked about this in the live last week. He's the babysitter of the collapse. We shall see. You like my good news?
He's the babysitter of the collapse.
Yep. No longer a conspiracy. Tucker Carlson interviewed Ken Paxton. Ken is suing General Motors because right now auto manufacturers are tracking everything you do in your car, tracking all of your driving, tracking every turn in your car. More lawsuits he's filing are with Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, who, by the way, Apple just settled with him, by the way. Google controls 90%, 7% of the ad market, and they destroy the competition, and they destroy you if you're small enough. They buy you if you're big enough, and they cut a deal if you're super big. And all of that's illegal under the antitrust laws, and they've been breaking it for a long time. Elon Musk reported that Reuters was paid millions of dollars by the U.S. government for large-scale social deception, and that is literally what it says on the purchase order, right? And so they have been your taxpayer dollars, as you guys all know this. This is not new to any of us here, but they're actually breaking it as news. We're actually spending our own money to attack ourselves and have been doing it, for a lot of years. Mike Bent said USAID told Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch to eliminate the financial incentives and nuke the ad revenue if they didn't do what they said. This is our government funded by our taxpayer dollars telling foreign governments that they should regulate ad networks to kill the ad revenue of U.S. social media websites and U.S. news entities. And it tracks all the way down to YouTube. I made more money on YouTube with 1,000 subscribers than I do with 9,000 and 8,000. Sorry, whatever it is.
8,100.
Yep. And it's just
that is true.
Yep. It is insane. Yep.
But that's not why you do it.
That's not why I do it. Don't care.
You don't need the $34.
I don't care. Yep. Oh my God, I can't believe this is real, says Wall Street Apes. Democrat Rep Melanie Stansberry is telling the news cameras that Doge has hacked the system of the EPA and that Americans are going to have to start boiling their water.
Oh.
Right? How is this real? I don't think there is anyone in America that wants to wake up tomorrow and find out that they have to boil their water because the EPA's workforce has been escorted out of the building. So Doge is already here. These guys have already hacked the system. So not only did they walk into the IRS headquarters, they walked into the EPA headquarters. And this was mentioned earlier by one of you fine folks, but the administrator, Lee Zeldin, of the new administrator, right, announced that $20 billion in taxpayer funds were just discovered laundered into external financial institutions managed by agents of the Biden administration to finance left-wing NGOs.
Huh. Thank God they found it.
Yep. Absolutely crazy. But by the way, in case you wanted to go work at the EPA in bottom right-hand corner, careers at the EPA, from tackling climate crisis to advancing environmental justice, you can be part of the EPA. Ridiculous. And what they tell you is, oh, now you're going to have to boil your water. There ain't no money going to make you safe. They're putting chemicals in the air. They're poisoning the water. They've been doing it for years, right? But you can go work for them on environmental justice if you'd like. Absolutely crazy. Hey, CoinLeap Bus, what's going on? It says, I want to work at the EPA. Hey, go make a difference. I don't want to work at the EPA. Yeah. Yeah. Elon actually has some of the highest security clearance because of what he does with the rockets and satellites. Yeah, I know that. Yep. Its local utilities has handled the water districts. We had to work with them all the time. Yeah, this whole thing is just absolutely crazy. This might be the most important slide, and as we're closing in on the end, I don't know how far I'm going to get, but remember I told you I was going to come back to it, tie this kind of in.
Okay.
So hasn't Trump recently said that the national debt may not be as high as reported? You guys heard him saying this, right?
I did not hear him say that.
Yeah, he said that maybe the national debt isn't quite right. I wondered about this and went looking, and I found this in the 14th Amendment. It's 14th Amendment, Section 4. The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppression of insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. But neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of an insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss of emancipation of any slave, but all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. So let me summarize, right? What this is saying is, if this debt, if he can come out and he can say, this debt was created to topple the United States of America. This debt was created to topple the society of the United States of America. And because it was used for insurrection, the Constitution says it's null and void. So could he, this is a question, could he, through the 14th Amendment, wipe out the debt? I think this is very interesting. Really, really interesting. Now, what would happen if they did that, right? I mean, all of our foreign creditors, they'd be pissed.
They're going to be mad.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, but I really think this is super, super fascinating. Or at least it is to me, because I could see a way out of that. Again, people are going to be pissed. Zaya Bonanza says 10th Amendment currency is gold and silver. Money is debt. Money is debt. That's right. And again, according to the 14th Amendment, if that debt was incurred because of insurrection or rebellion, right? Any claim for the loss, blah, 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 but all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. Very interesting to me. Yeah, this debt is illegal and therefore not dischargeable. Unfortunately, the world's economy depends on the U.S. debt. Oh, yeah, but it would 100% piss the world off. But please tell me where Trump seems to care whether or not he pisses the world off.
Yeah, I don't think
he's got Canada pissed at him, Mexico pissed at him, England pissed at him. Did you guys see the J.D. Vance speech today in Munich? Yesterday in Munich? What a powerful speech. But he talked about, you shouldn't fear your people. And for you guys to be putting people in jail because you're praying outside of an abortion clinic, or, any of this stuff on Facebook, because of this is silly. And he did a really, really good job. But again, I think this is a really interesting angle, and I'm going to watch this a lot closer. Let's see here. Let's get this out of here because we were already past. Make sure there's not anything super. Yeah, that'd be all right. Anyway, guys, it's 2 hours. I've got 15 more slides, but not tonight, right? B, what do you want to leave us with tonight before we get out of here?
Well, it is Valentine's Day.
It is. And I got milk in a red cup.
Happy Valentine's Day. And I was going to say, for all of you fine women out there, to not forget about your honey, right? That a lot of times men's needs get pushed aside, and they get the shaft a lot. And I think that we need to recognize their role in what they do for us in our world, and make them feel valued and appreciated. Make them know that they're appreciated, and don't forget about them. It's super easy to, Valentine's Day is all about girls and their, flowers and candies, and that's a pretty typical, right? Flowers and candies. And I think that most of the time guys get left out on a lot of not just holidays, but everyday life.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that, actually. And, I don't think many guys in here will tell you that they want flowers for Valentine's Day, but I will tell you this for sure, that if we don't feel valued, we'll cuddle up in a ball and we'll hide in our own head, and you'll never know it. Right? Because we've taught our whole lives to suppress that and to push that away. And then we just eat it and eat it and eat it. And you wake up one day and wonder why you do it. And you wonder, my family don't give a shit. And, at the end of the day, I'm just a bank or whatever it is, whatever the thing is going on. And, so I really appreciate B saying that, because it's very easy, I think, to get caught in that, into that cycle. And, I can tell you in my personal life, I was married once before. I felt very used all the time. All it was about was what I could bring in the door. And once I brought it in the door, it was get your ass back to work. And that's it. And there was and I actually I used to tell B these stories. I looked for reasons to leave the house. And I'd be gone at all costs. So I didn't care if I had to work 7 days a week. I didn't care, because it was so much more pleasurable than being at home.
Yep.
And, how hard is that? But then I think there's the other side to this too, which is, we celebrate you girls because of all the remarkable things you guys do too. Life is softer because you guys are in it, and we want it to be that way. The whole idea that the system would tell you can do anything a man can do is a silly argument, because the fact of the matter is you can't. And to go a step further, men can't do what you guys do, right? If it was left up to men, it'd be a filthy world, right? If it was left up to men, it'd be an insensitive world, right? I mean, and so both roles are critically important, and we need to get back to a place where we celebrate the things that make us different, and we quit trying to be the same. We are not the same. We're never going to be the same. We will never be the same. We are not equal. You girls out there ain't a single one of you girls out there that are equal to me. Not one. Now, we have the same value. Your life is worth the exact same my life is, but there are things you are far superior at than I am, and vice versa. So I would really encourage everybody, celebrate the things that make us different. Celebrate the things that make us magnificent, right? Put your wife, put your queen, whatever you want to call her, put her on a pedestal and treat her that way. And in return, if she'll treat you like the king that you are, I'm telling you, it's a great life full of mutual respect. So, listen to this. You'll like this. Mike got me red gooseberry and Ornonia berry bushes.
I got the same thing.
What else did you get?
Did Mike and did they talk to each other?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all good. It is all good. Oh, wait. Let me read some of these. Some of these are super important. What an interesting evening. Susie says, love is the one you're with. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Love the one you're with.
Yep. And I would add to that, love hard. Love with everything you got. You know, love, I've told you guys this over and over again, and I mean this, love is the easiest of all things, because if you truly give a shit about your partner, doing the things that make them happy is not hard. But if that's not reciprocated back, it'll be short-lived. Right? So love hard, love hard, love hard, love hard. Yeah. Squatchy says, Lazy Loper doesn't want flowers. She wants more dogs. Yeah. Yeah. Lisa VB says, by the way, hello, says, lean way over past the divider and hug him. The walls between those two. I love that. Lean way over past the divider and hug him. I love that. It can't always be 50-50, right? There's days I'm high and I can be 80, and there's days I can't be 20. You know, I love that. Louise Wesley says, be such a wise woman. You're so fortunate to call her friend. We are so fortunate to call her a friend. Yeah, she's a badass. Yeah. Oh, Nito says, honey and I met 15 years ago today. Give him a big old kiss, right? Love him hard. So we're going to leave you guys with that parting words. Go love him hard. Tag and be out. We'll see you guys in a week. Hey, go watch the community video because there's some magic in it.
Hold the line.
Yeah.